What's up, guys? Welcome to my very first vlogging video, which I am naming jVlogs. And this first jVlog, I decided that I would like to talk about the Mac App Store versus the Steam Store when it comes to purchasing games. So, of course, a difference would be, availability of one game and the other. But for me, let's say that a game came out and I see it on the Mac App Store and I also see it on Steam at the same time. What kind of factors do I put in to getting one on the Mac App, getting it either on the Mac App Store or getting it over in Steam? And so, one big thing, of course, is going to be price. Is it cheaper over in Steam? Is it cheaper over in the Mac App Store? Most of the time lately what's been happening is when a game does come out and the developer releases it on Steam and the Mac App Store at the same time, usually they're about the same price. You'll go in the Mac App Store and they'll say, introductory price, for limited time only, this price, but you'll go over to Steam and it might be the same exact price because they're doing the same exact thing. Or maybe Apple's doing something for that particular app, like, hey, for a limited time it's 50% off in the App Store, and then you go over to Steam and it's still the regular price over in Steam. So of course, that's a big factor for all of us as gamers, the price. Where can I get this game as cheap as possible, because I don't have a lot of money to spend on the game, so where do I go? So that's a factor. Another factor for me, let's say that the game's in both the Mac App Store and in the Steam Store, and they're both the same price. Then to me, I'm basing it off of does it have controller support? Because with some games, like say a platformer, let's say a platformer hit both the Mac App Store and the Steam Store at the same time, I'll look over in Steam and see if the developer actually has in there with all the other specs, if it has full controller support or not. Because if it will, I'll go and get it in Steam just for that fact, because I grew up in console era. I grew up Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. I play platformers with a controller. I've tried playing it with a keyboard and a mouse. I find it very difficult. It's just because I grew up with a controller, using joystick and face buttons and things like that to do it. You can use a controller if you get the game from the Mac App Store, but you usually have to do a couple of weird things like download another app to program the controller in there so that way it can see it, and then you have to know what all the buttons do and things like that. Whereas Steam, when they say that it's got full controller support, it's got full controller support. So you can just plug in your controller, say that you don't want to use a keyboard, you want to use a controller, and then off you go. So that's another factor in getting one over the other. Another factor is, which is also kind of a big one, kind of going back almost a little bit to price, but also, for me at least, I have to ask the question, do I have credit in one of the stores or the other? And what I mean by that is, let's say that it was a game that came out. It's the same price on the Mac App Store and Steam. It's not a platformer, so I'm going to have to use the keyboard and the mouse no matter where I get it at. Then I have to look at, do I have credit sitting over in my Mac App Store to be able to purchase this? Or do I have credit already over in Steam? Or am I going to have to go to the store and get an iTunes gift card or a Steam card to put in here to purchase them? That's been a factor a couple of times with me, where I've come across that and I don't have enough money in Steam, but I've got plenty still over in my iTunes account for the Mac App Store, and so I'll just buy it through the Mac App Store and do it that way. So that's another factor involved in it. Overall, when it comes to getting one over the other, we're going to get the same kind of performance out of them. A nice thing about getting a game through Steam is that, yes, I am a Mac gamer, but at some point, let's say that I got a PC or something like that, or we're at my friend's house and he's got a PC and we want to play this game. At least now with the way Steam Play is, when you buy a game, and like I buy a game and I play it on my Mac, you can still play, if I wanted to, as long as I'm signed into Steam and I download it, I could play it on a Windows machine too. It doesn't make me buy it twice. Whereas with the Mac App Store, you're stuck to just doing it on a Mac. But you're just, still in there with your account, but you have to be on a Mac to be able to play it. So that's kind of a factor in there as well. So that's kind of what I want to go over, guys. The Mac App Store versus Steam Store. I like both of them equally, but there are factors that play in, like I've listed, that play in for me either getting one through one store and one on the other. So that's basically what I've got for this jVlog this time. Thanks for checking out the video and checking out the channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, please. That'd be very nice. And come back for additional content, guys. Alright, there'll be more jVlogs in the future about different subjects, things on my mind, things I'm kind of, wanting to get out there. So stay tuned for that. And as always, keep gaming.